Imagine that you are 2 years old. You can't read, you can't count. You have no idea what germs, medicine, or hospitals are. You depend entirely on the people around you. Today, that doesn't sound like a serious problem. If a child gets sick, their parents can call a doctor. If they're hungry, there's food in the refrigerator. If they're cold, there's heating. But 50,000 years ago, none of those things existed. And yet, children somehow survived. In fact, they survived well enough that more than 8 billion people are alive today because of them. So, if childhood in the Stone Age was so dangerous, how did anyone make it to adulthood? The answer is more surprising than it seems. Because for most of human history, children were not raised by parents alone. They were raised by the entire group. From the moment they were born, children face dangers that are difficult for most modern people to imagine. Today, most babies are born in sterile rooms surrounded by trained medical staff. In the Stone Age, births happened almost anywhere inside caves, under rock shelters, in temporary camps, sometimes even during seasonal migrations. Complications that are easily treated today could become deadly for both mother and child. But if a baby survived the first days of life, even greater challenges lay ahead: hunger, disease, predators, accidents, exposure to the cold. The first years of life were often the most dangerous. For a young child, food was the most immediate concern. Today, baby formula and packaged food can be found in almost any store. But tens of thousands of years ago, there was only one reliable source of nutrition: mother's milk. Anthropologists believe that children in many prehistoric societies were breastfed much longer than they are today, sometimes until the age of 3 or 4. This allowed children to receive nutrition even when food was scarce. During periods of famine, it could mean the difference between life and death. But food was only part of the problem. Children had no understanding of danger. A toddler could wander too close to a fire, fall from a rocky ledge, walk toward a river, or simply become lost. For modern parents, a lost child is an emergency. For a prehistoric family, it could be a catastrophe. A small child could not easily find water, could not defend themselves, could not make a fire. Sometimes only a few hours were enough for a situation to become deadly. This is one reason children were rarely left alone. Very rarely. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer societies reveal something remarkable. A child is usually watched by several people at once, not just their mother, not just their father, grandparents, older siblings, aunts, uncles, other members of the group. Scientists call this cooperative childcare. In simple terms, the entire community helped raise the child. And many researchers believe this was one of the reasons our species became so successful. At first glance, this may seem like nothing more than kindness, but the consequences were enormous. While one adult watched the children, others could gather food, hunt, maintain the camp, repair tools, keep the fire alive. A single family often could not handle all of these tasks alone. A group could, and the better a group cooperated, the greater a child's chances of survival. Even with that support, childhood remained extremely dangerous. Many illnesses that are considered relatively minor today could be fatal in the prehistoric world. Diarrhea, infections, high fevers. For a modern child, these are usually treatable conditions. For a Stone Age child, they could become life-threatening. Without antibiotics or modern medicine, even a small infection could sometimes end in tragedy. Because of this, humans evolved a very unusual strategy. Human babies are born remarkably helpless, far more helpless than the young of most animals. A foal can stand within hours of being born. Many animals begin moving almost immediately. Human children require years of care. At first, this seems like a disadvantage, but it may have become one of our greatest strengths. While a child's brain continued developing after birth, they could absorb an extraordinary amount of information: language, hunting skills, plant knowledge, tool-making techniques, social rules, stories, traditions. The longer childhood lasted, the more a person could learn. And over time, knowledge became more important than physical strength. In many ways, childhood became one of humanity's most important adaptations. A lion's childhood is relatively short. A human childhood can last more than a decade. That seems inefficient. But it allowed information to be passed from one generation to the next. Every child inherited knowledge gathered over countless years. Knowledge from parents, from grandparents, from people who had lived long before them, again and again, across thousands of generations. So perhaps the real question is not how children survived in the Stone Age. The more surprising question is how humans managed to build a system in which the most helpless children among all primates could still reach adulthood. The answer was not strength, it was not speed, and it was not a safe world. Humans survived because they helped one another survive, and that may have been one of the greatest advantages our species ever developed.